So I've been disabled for 8 years now, and I was 11 by the time I had to deal with my disability. But how is it to be disabled even longer and on an even younger age? Always been wondering how it is to other people with disabilities, how they feel, how they think about things, how they think about crutches, wheelchairs, prosthetics, and that's something I wanted to find out. So I asked one of my best friends, we're gonna talk about it, so let's go.
I'm Oliver, I'm a fencer from GB. We met on the fencing circuit, as you know, Elke fences. I'm on crutches. I got a vein problem that affects my left leg. These are my crutches. I do have both my legs though, so that's a minor difference. But I went on crutches around the age of about 9. So I've been on crutches for around 16 years. I'm 26 now.
I've been on crutches in a wheelchair and a prosthetic. I'm still using everything, so that's also quite a big difference between us. But I got disabled when I was 11 years old, so that's for seven years now.
Yeah.
Almost 8 years. So there's quite big difference between how long we've been.
So you've been disabled? For around 8 years.
Yeah.
I've been on crutches for the past 16 years. So it's almost actually double the time.
So when I had like my accident, if you want to know my story, I will link my
link in the bio.
Yeah, my amputee story, how I actually got in a wheelchair, because I've been in a wheelchair for 5 years before my actual amputation, and I used to use crutches in the beginning, but it took quite a while before I realized I was like really disabled. It always seemed to be something, you know, there was like temporary, like they've been telling me for years that I would learn how to walk again. So I think I realized at the age of 14 that I would never learn walking again. Okay. So how was that for you? Yeah.
Growing up, I was a fairly average kid and I never really understood the concept of disability. I think I never really thought of myself as being disabled. Although I was on crutches, I kind of just was in a bit like of denial about it. And I think it was easy at school to ignore it because all my friends would ignore it as well. But I think there was a moment, not to go into it too much, but there was a moment at which a kid actually was like, he called me a cripple. And I think at that point I began to feel a little bit disabled for the first time in my life. I began to maybe identify as being disabled. And to be honest with you, it didn't really feel like a good thing. And then continuing on from that, I went to university and I didn't talk about it. I said it was a sporting accident. I lied about it, but I think it was really around the age of about 22, like a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, that I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be on this. Am I allowed to swear on your video?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I went through the decision not to amputate it. I realized I was going to be on crutches for the rest of my life, and then I kind of accepted the fact that yes, I'm here for good.
Stop playing with them, fool.
Do you personally think it's easier to get disabled on like a younger age or since you've been born with it? Like, have you knew your entire life there will be a day you won't walk? Like,
I think it's way easier to have it from a younger age because you don't know any different and it's just your normal. Like, we have a friend called Demi, and I think, for example, he's in a wheelchair, and for example, getting into a car with a wheelchair is like I need to. I've not done it, but you've done it. But you kind of like I've seen him do it. You kind of sit there, you jump into the seat, you then fold up the wheelchair, you put the wheels in. It's like a process.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me, it's a lot easier because I'm on crutches. I just put the seat forward, sling the crutches in the back, boom, I'm ready to go. And then if you then go to the next step, which is if you're just able-bodied, you just open the door, jump in. And there are 3 degrees of like how long it takes and how much effort it takes just to get into a car. But for example, if I never drove before I was on crutches, so for me, opening the car door, putting the seat forward, chucking the crutches in, that's all I've ever known. Whereas a lot of people I know who use crutches to drive now that didn't before, that it's so long, like this and that, because they know what it was like beforehand. They know how easy it was just to get in and go. Now they're having to get in, put the seat forward, put the crutches in, and then go. And then if they were to go to a wheelchair from that, it'll be like, get in, this and that, take the wheels off,
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's all relative, I think, and I think that it becomes a lot easier. Like sometimes the less you know, the better. Sometimes actually, for me, example, like that kind of stuff, being on crutches for ages and knowing no different to a lot of things.
Yeah, for me, like the thing you said, like I forgot to charge my leg this week.
Also, actually, the main reason is that she forgot to charge her leg. I wasn't meant to say that.
The thing is, I used to walk on a prosthetic. I didn't need it to charge for 3 years. Now since a couple of months I do have a new prosthetic, I need to charge it. I would just forget to do it, and people are like, how the hell can you forget to charge your leg because you can't walk without it? Like, there is so much more you need to think about when you're actually dealing with an amputation or any kind of disability. It's like, normally you charge your phone every night, so just do it at the same time. It's your phone, it's your leg, it's this, it's that.
I forget to charge my phone sometimes.
Yeah, so it's like, for me, charging my leg is something I will forget because I know I'm not used to it, even though I've been an amputee for 4 years, because I used to walk on a different prosthetic. So those things, like, for me, I do know like all the perspectives of a wheelchair, crutches, prosthetic.
It's one of those questions that's really it's really funny and difficult to answer, because I know the side of it from not being born with a disability but having it from an early age. But it's impossible to be able to see both sides of the story. Like, obviously I can hear both sides of the story from someone who is born with a disability, and I can tell my side of the story of someone who developed a disability later in life. But if you develop one later in life, it's impossible that you're born with it. If you're born with it, it's impossible that you develop it. So there can never be like, I understand both sides of the story. You can listen to it, but listening to it, understanding it, hearing it is different to actually understanding it.
And also, like, I don't really miss having 2 legs.
Yeah.
I don't miss it, but my ex-boyfriend, he's born without legs. He was always talking like, I want to be like you. I want to know how it feels to stand on your feet, because with prosthetics, you know when you're standing because you get the pressure on your stump, but you won't feel the pressure on your feet. You don't know how the ground feels, and he doesn't have both of his legs, so he doesn't know how those things feel. So he really was like, I want to know how it feels. Like, I don't mind not having legs, but I just want to know how it feels. And I think that's like
interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah, so it's like, I think even though I can't really remember how it is, still you've done it, and I still have like 1 leg with what I can feel like sand and stones.
Is it easier to never having experienced that and want to experience that? Like, that guy will never experience that, and he's like living in a constant like, I wish I knew what that was like. Or is it more difficult to having felt it and now know what's being taken away? Like, I will never feel that again because I remember what it was like and it was amazing. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, or one of the two is easier to handle it. Maybe once we just need to take our camera with us to a competition and ask every single person with a different disability how it is like. We will do that together.
We'll do it together.
We will do that together for you guys. I think that's going to be an interesting one.
Definitely.
So these are basically the difference for us. Like, you've been on crutches way longer than I am, but I know how it is to use a wheelchair, crutches, everything. I think it's going to be very interesting to put you in a wheelchair once.
Yes.
And
that'd be fun.
That's
like
gonna be a
wheelchairs.
lot of fun. I really want to see how you're handling the wheelchair and carrying
Really
stuff.
bad at wheelchairs.
Maybe you will like it.
I'm good at wheelies.
Only my wheelchair.
Yeah, she's got a very nice wheelchair.
I do have a really good wheelchair.
Very nice.
So yeah, I hope like maybe if you are dealing with like a disability, let us know what you think about those things. Like, are you being born with it? Did you get on like an older age? We were both quite young when we've got like dealing with all those things. Maybe you're like 30 years old and had like a car accident or something. Just let us know your story and your experience with it.
Drop it down in the comments, guys.
Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Am I cut now that it's filming? That's it loud. You can do it thing, so I just wanted to plug my YouTube really quickly. I do have a channel. I'm not even in focus. Wait, it's there.
Oliver Lam-Watson on YouTube and Instagram.
We're gonna link it down below. It's really good.
You can see us together on his channel too. We made a video on his channel, so check that out.
That'll be linked below.
Yeah.
I'm not linking. I can't even do that. Use my own channel. I'm gonna link this below. I'm gonna put this here, but I can't do that because it's not my channel.
Yeah. Bye.